All right, this is going to be a challenge because I got to try and keep everything straight. And it feels really scattered. I went to bed later last night and I've been up since 1. So, and Stella is being very disruptive. It's got a lot of licking. Oh, but I'm telling you, there is a huge difference with the boron. I think it's the boron. And I've been doing the walks with her, and we've gone to like, usually every day is 2 walks. And oh my God, what a difference. But she's been able to do that because of the, I think because the boron. I don't know how many times you can say these words. So yeah, just kind of half say them. So I don't know if that is, oh, because by the way, I'll just do this part real quick, is on TikTok, like a couple days ago, when I went on, they had a new terms of service for United States. And so the United States now is whatever they're doing. Now they can censor, like I'm not even sure what the hell is going on. It's all for optics. It's all a show. But and now it's like, I mean, I'm getting like maybe 12 notifications for the whole entire day. And most of them are on comments that I made on someone else's post. They're not putting my post in at all. And I've seen other people saying the same thing is happening to them. So, you know, I don't know. There's people who are leaving TikTok. They're so mad. Like, but there's so many people who are trying to monetize on there. And I knew it was bullshit, and it's fucking these people over. And like one of the guys said, I've seen a few people, but once you get monetized, then is a whole nother thing that they mess with you about. And so they just take down your videos and block them off. Because they don't want you to get the money for them or something. I don't know. You'd have to hear each person, what they're saying about their own specific scenario and situation. But it's all people like me who are saying things that they obviously don't want you to hear. And it's a vast amount of stuff that they don't want you to hear about. So it's a lot of stuff that people are talking about. I had so many things coming into my head while I was saying all that. This is going to be hard to, I feel like it is, like it's further, like it's a bigger distance. Like, I don't know, like there's more space. I don't know. I mean, it's like training me to like move it a little bit further out. But the amount of psychic stuff going on for me, I'm mind blown of how much more it becomes. Like, I swear to God, life is a whole nother level. Like, life is so different than what they told us. Life is so different. And this place is so different. Everything about it is so different. But, okay, let me see. Because it really feels like there's a whole bunch of different things, but I really feel scattered. So sorry if I keep on stopping. But I did have seen where there's other people saying that too, and I don't know if that is something with the energy, with the shift. I saw a crazy fucking sky video this morning where it looked like the sky over wherever these people were. It looked like America. But it looked like an ocean storm on the sky. You know, I got the visual when I saw that, and it looked so much like choppy waves that I was like, oh my gosh, I just saw the visual of, you know, because it is like the earth is 2 worlds. We have the underworld and the above world. And the underworld is the world that they keep people trapped with, not being able to pay attention. But you have to pull your head up above so you can see the above world, so you can see outside of the manipulation. And so the 2 worlds, that is a real thing. 2 worlds exist in 1 world. And so the 2 worlds, as they say, pull apart. It is these distinct differences in how we see things. And so that is pulling us apart. And it fucking trips me out, dude, of the things that I see people saying still. Like, there was a woman who was saying that she never posts on the weekend, but so you know this is big stuff if she's coming on the weekend to go ahead and post the news. And so I was like, well, what is it? I was curious. And it was some absurd thing about Trump. Totally absurd thing. And it was, she was so excited. I mean, she was going on about, like, the people who've got the TDS, they have no idea that their biases are so pushed. And I saw somebody who was just talking about that was what Trump was. Trump was the mirror for everyone to see their own biases. And that's what it showed me, because I knew that I wasn't seeing his true self, because I was being misled by what they were telling me. He's a perv, he's selfish, he's a rich, all this stuff that are just like, yeah, I don't like guys like that. I don't like those guys. Fuck those guys. And so you just assume because they're telling you that that's the truth. But come to find out, no, you got to judge a person by who they are inside of them. You have to know a person, and you have to know a person pretty good. And so there's no reason to even be judging anybody. It's kind of like we just need to get into this role of observer in life and quit being so judgy on people, and experiencer. And because we're experiencing our own reality, our own learning vibe situation. But in this 2 earth thing, so where we have, because the visual is super cool, and it is it's the same thing as the what is above is below, whatever that word thing is, the people in like that kind of, where it is above and below. And that's so micro macro. When you think about the tunnels and all of that stuff, how that and micro macro is all from the beginning. And I just saw something that was so representative of this too the other day, because it is the thing that it starts with. And when it comes out from that, it goes bigger. Oh, I think it was a water thing. That's what it was. It was a guy who had a frequency thing, and it was doing some sort of frequency, and he had his hose set up, and it was spurting the water out, and it was doing shapes and shit. It was fucking cool as shit. But how it starts and then how it gets bigger. See, that's the micro macro. Everything starts, but as it goes out, it's all different things, but it is all representative of the same thing. But you have to look at it through all different prisms or perspectives so that you can see all things. And that is what all energy or all soul is trying to do, is to give itself more perspective. It's like the whole concept of like the fly's eyes, of being able to see so much of the spider or whatever. And it's like we want to add on as a soul more and more eyes. We want to see it all. We want to feel it all. We want to experience it all. We want to know it all. And that's kind of cool too, because the spider is this really spiritual thing. And I bet you it has something to do with the experience of the sight or something. Like, I don't know. But it's not, spiders aren't here to just scare us and shit. They're here to experience. But anyways, so in this earth thing where it's the 2, and so we have the because it is also like on the spiritual level, on the physical level, which the physical isn't even fucking real, but on all these different levels of the opposite, because the tunnels are here, and there's so much talk about like the rich people, the elites are going to go underground, and they're going to leave us up here to suffer in this catastrophe or whatever. But people don't realize that is the what I was talking about the other day, the frequency. If they go underground, that keeps their frequency low. We, as the experiencers who are above ground, who go through the experience, we raise our vibration from going through it. They are restricting themselves so they won't go through it, so they would stay in low vibrations, so they would stay in the underneath. They would have a hard time to resurface. It has to do with vibration and stuff. And so, anyways, the earth thing, and this is where it's kind of hard to explain, because you have these alignments. And so we have the upside down world, where so many people accept that, and they get angry at you if you're not willing to accept it. And some of the arguments are just so weird, man. They're so weird. And it is like, you can totally see this is a totally different perspective. This is a totally different way of seeing things. Like, they're here for this experience. They're here to go through this. They're not here to have us change them, to have them see what we see. They're here to experience what they're here to experience. And that whole that whole thing goes in a whole direction anyways, about control and stuff. And who knows how, I think so many of them are going to go to that would be the only ones that would be the ones who are underground. And they wouldn't be able to come back to the surface, and things underground would shift at some point, because everything is shifting, because reality is always growing and moving. And it's the way things have to go. It's the way things have to grow and move and change. It is how things keep going. It's how they stay alive. And so it is, so in this space that we're all in right now, where so many of us start being like, and it's so funny how during this period of time, how Stranger Things came out and started showing that representation of the underworld, or the upside down. And because that's what we're in. And then when you start talking to people and you start seeing their acceptance of this alternate reality, when they don't pay attention to what's around them, and they just get their information through a sub-source. And that is how they've lied to us about the planet and all of those different things, the shape, how we're moving in space and all this shit. And so then, so the people who are breaking free from that, so we're flipping ourselves into the right side up. But that is like where I was saying in 2020, when all of my puzzles start going together. But there's so much to it, because you go through the whole thing thinking like you've seen something, and you got to go and get everybody else to see it. They just haven't seen it. But you don't understand that their soul has a certain day, a special day, that they're going to see what they're going to see and how they're going to see it. And it's all lined up. It has nothing to do with you. So you are just trying to interfere. So you are using your energy to try and control something on the earth plane for another soul, rather than just experiencing your own experience. But that is also a part of the learning and growing and letting go, is going through the steps. That's why everything is steps. Everything is an evolution. It is an expansion. It is a more and more seeing of what you need to see. And so, and that is all in the awakening. Oh yeah, I want to say that real quick too, because this was, you're seeing all these people awaken, all these different things. So this was a little old lady, and she was doing a video, and she was saying, I don't understand if I'm just weak or what's wrong with me or whatever, but what is going on where all of a sudden now she can't take some of her, it seemed to be that her husband talks really down to her, and she's older. Like, she's probably been putting up this 45 years. And he talks shit to her. And it's just now, it's all of a sudden, see, I can feel her just talking about her. This is what I'm talking about. Like, as this stuff progresses, it gets trippier and trippier. And I know I'm not crazy, because I hear people who I don't know at all talking about things, saying the same things I'm saying. So, and then how many people start saying the same thing even a year later than me, a couple months later than me. So I know I'm not crazy. That's always what extra gives me more motivation, when I can see, okay, I'm not fucking crazy. This is fucking real. Like, I don't even know this person. So, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, because little old lady, and then she's realizing the, of not being, and she comes from an age where that isn't helped. And then we have this great divide, the huge division between generations. Like, that is a constant. I mean, it's a duetted, stitched, constant narrative that everybody's on board for, is fuck your abusive parents, which I don't know how abusive all these parents are. Like, I can't say. I saw one yesterday that was telling a story where I was like, fuck, that's pretty fucked. And she was showing a picture of her mom, and she was like, then she showed what her mom used to look like. Huge difference. but that's what drugs do to you, I guess, in a criminal world or whatever. And then, and she has nothing to do with her kids. And she just, and so you think, oh, well, she's just a drug addict. No, she's rich. She's rich as fuck. She lives off of her parents' money, blows her kids off, doesn't want anything to do with them, goes out. I mean, and the thing that the daughter was showing was her mugshot that she had just gotten arrested, and it was in the paper or something. The family didn't even recognize her and how bad she looked, but she got arrested because she's, I don't know, in a drugged out stupor and stabbing somebody or something. Now she's charged with attempted murder or something. And so I can see, that there is some really, really, rough parents out there. But man, for how many? And some of the things when people, it just is hurt feelings going back and forth. I just heard this whole long story that this one woman was telling about her parents, and her husband wanted to move to Tennessee. And then she told her parents, well, you can move there and you can get in a assisted living, and then I'll still come over and help you and stuff like that. And then she was going over on her Sunday, and she goes through her whole list of all the stuff she does for her parents. And then her mom asked her to do one thing that was an odd thing. She all of a sudden wanted her daughter to do her ostomy bag. And I don't even know which ostomy it is, but she wanted her to do it. And she's like, why would I do it? You do it by yourself all the time. What are you talking about? And she said the mom just burst into tears and then started saying, you don't do anything for me. You don't care about me. And then the daughter, the whole thing is about like this narcissistic mom who doesn't appreciate anything I do. It's like, oh my God, I wish I could just sit down with some of these people and help them see. The mom has deep wounds, deep pain. Oh, fuck, I can feel her pain. Just fucking talking about her, and I didn't even see her goddamn video. Fuck. I have been going through it with the crying lately. Like, everything I see, I can feel it. It's trippy, man. So that the older woman, the mom, and this is what I said I saw all the motherfucking time in the hospital when I was a nurse. Especially, people don't realize, this is something that people don't realize. And this is kind of hurt a lot of people. But they choose to be sick. They want to be sick because it gives them attention. And people don't realize that. People don't realize how much they jump on a diagnosis. Oh, hell yeah, I got a diagnosis, everybody. This is what's wrong with me. And they've come up with a new one now. They've merged ADHD and autism, and every single person has that. Because y'all the standard they want us to exist isn't real. We are all different weirdos. That's all we are. It's just a bunch of weirdos trying to follow their stringent rules. And then they got to come up with labels and stuff. And it's just absurd. But so now everybody's got that. And there's a whole thing about medicine, of course. That's probably why they had to merge the diagnosis. Come up with, we got a new pill. Let's fucking get that one out there. But there's all these people who can't get their ADHD medicine. I saw a grown-ass woman who was like 50 years old or something saying, I can't get my ADHD medicine. I haven't been able to get it since October. And she's like having a hard time. And she's like, and I don't understand because my neighbors got theirs. It's like every fucking person is on ADHD medicine, fuck. The Rolling Stones weren't even fucking kidding. Mother's Little Helper. People can't get through life. They've got to have something. And some people need a diagnosis. And a diagnosis gives them an excuse. And it gives them this, it fills a need of, nobody took care of me my whole life. And this is what people don't realize when they're dealing with their parents. You're talking about somebody who isn't 30 or 40 years old and feels like that nobody took care of them. You're talking to somebody who has gone through 50, 60, 70, 80 years of feeling like nobody took care of them. They've been there for other people. They took care of other people, even when they couldn't. Even these kids that think nobody was there for me. Bet your ass, motherfucker, most of you, if you were sick, Your mom got up in the middle of the night and took care of you even when she wanted to sleep. So people just don't see it from the other person's side. But there was definitely parents who were doing things that they didn't want to do, that they wanted to sleep or they wanted to eat something or whatever they wanted to do. They did surrender a lot of themselves to raise their kids. And people don't realize how much more pressure was on parents back then to be so much more perfect. And not talk about their feelings, not talk about your husband just because he's pinching other girls on the ass. God, what do you expect? He's a man. What women have had to surrender as, women throughout time too. And then these people want to bash on their moms when they don't even know their moms walk. They haven't walked in their mom's shoes. They don't know the pain that she's carrying. There's a reason she's bursting into tears and nobody's taking care of me. And how many people get sick because they think, and it works. It pulls people in to take care of them. And there's a whole thing about like cancer running in families. But I had seen a few years back that it isn't necessarily that it runs in families. Like you can have the genes, but what it is that people who have other people in their family get cancer, implants that into them. And then see how much, like if things go bad, you get stressed out and all of a sudden you have cancer, but in your subconscious, you recognize that when, things were hard, like somebody was taking care of your mom, everybody was there for her, they loved her, brush her hair, sit with her for hours. So it triggers that need to be taken care of, and so it triggers that reference of sickness. And so you manifest a sickness inside of you because it's an implanted program. It's a programmed thought. It's a programmed response. And so people don't realize that they get themselves sick. And people don't realize, especially like diagnoses and drugs just go around just like blah, 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 blah all the time now. Nobody's paying attention to somebody else's and nobody's understanding that people are withdrawn. Like everybody's got all these issues. Everybody's all fucking strung out on drugs. And when you have, we're caught a completely unstable society. Nobody knows how to heal themselves. They just run down and get a pill. The pills make them more wacky, and everybody's holding resentment. We got generational divide. We got divide between gender. We got everything. It's so divided right now. And so in that upside down world, it's like, what are you comfortable with? Because I see these people who are very comfortable with division. They can't imagine a world where we could all come together. That's impossible. There's no fucking way. That's not a world that they want to exist in. And so that is that's staying in the upside down, because the right side up is the truth. And that is why everything is flipping. And when I saw that storm up in the sky thing, and I was like, and they keep on talking about it's in the storm and look to the skies and we've got all this crazy stuff going up. And it was like that the sky storm is the real world that is going to bust us open to see the truth. If you get what I'm saying. And, and I don't know when all that's going to occur or whatever, but it is like the storm is above us. And the storm is what flips everything right side up. It is the pole shift of reality. It is the backswing of the pendulum, so, but energetically, it doesn't, it doesn't seem to all happen at once. It like I had said before, like there's an overspray or something of energy that comes from the movement that affects all different people's lives, because you see all different things happening in different people's lives. Like the spiritual girl. Okay. So the one, now I'm all over the place, but I think all this stuff goes together. But the one spiritual girl who, she has had problem after problem. She's homeless. She's living in a hotel. Oh my gosh. So many things. And she would be out there talking about spiritual stuff all the time and doing tons of videos. And her life just kept blowing up and blowing up. Now she's in the hospital. Now she's saying she's got kidney problems. She's got bladder problems. She's got some other stuff. And she's saying that her health you know, that you got to see when you're really stressed out how much it affects your health. Because I think her relationship was kind of falling apart for a few weeks, but she was trying to hold on to it, and she was so stressed. And I don't know what her whole thing is. I don't even know what the other girl either that is always talking about her relationship stuff out there. She just goes with it. I stopped following her so much because I feel uncomfortable when people start putting all that drama out like that, you know, and going back and forth, because I have done that before when I was younger and I had problems with my relationships. You know, I put that stuff out there, and it I don't know. A lot of times it can come back on you, and sometimes at this point it's just like, I don't know, things need to be more private. But I know at this time also that the people who are playing that out, it's for a reason, because it helps other people. It's like pulling other people along to question their relationships and stuff. So it's a good thing that's going on. But you know, I'm just uncomfortable sometimes, you know, when I just listen to people just with their so much stuff, and especially if I feel like they're making bad decisions, and then I get motivated that I want to help everybody. I want to help everybody, but you can't help people that don't want to help. Like, and you know, people they have their own ideas about what's best. So, you know, there's only so much you can do. And but the one girl now, she's in the hospital, and as what I was saying, there's been so many of people with big accounts that are having all sorts of stuff. Oh my God. Yesterday, I think it happened a couple days ago, but her video keeps going with a girl. All her platform is all, you know, makeup-y hair, you know, and you start getting on that thing. People abuse the fuck out of their hair. Like, they don't have any respect whatsoever for their hair. The way they talk about their hair, it's so disrespectful. It is, so when this happened, I was not surprised at all. But so her other video, she's on there. She's going to go from one extreme. So her videos, something was showing that, oh yeah, I can go from one extreme to another in my own home. I do it myself. And it does this picture of these extreme hair colors where, you know, you're damaging the fuck out of your hair. And so the video before this was that. The irony here. So I think it would be called irony. It's something. But so then her next video, she's going to do this. Her hair's red, but she's going to bleach it. Okay, because her hair had grown really long. And so she wanted to bleach it because she wanted to have long blonde hair for the summertime. But she had this red on her hair. And so she was going to strip the red out, and then she was going to bleach it. And so she's telling about this whole thing, you know, and she's doing it and stuff. And so she burns all her hair off. Her inner hair was really long, and obviously it wasn't healthy, and she did more damage to the chemicals. But when she was going in and rinsing it, it was just, her hair was just coming off and coming off. So she's got just whacked out hair now, you know, like some pieces hanging here and just all over the place, and it's real funky looking. It is a mess. And right after she did that video of, oh, look at how great she can look, and she does her hair at home and stuff, it's like, oh my God. And then this very next one is her hair burned off. But so then these guys from Beverly Hills did a video message to her that one of them is an extension expert, one of them is a color expert. They're going to fly her to Beverly Hills and fix her hair for her. And, you know, I mean, that's good advertisement for them, because like her video is going all over the place. So, you know, that's smart of them to do, because that will get them more business for sure. But I'm shocked at how many girls are out there just, oh my God, there's so many videos. And I don't know how I get on these algorithms sometimes. If it's just like, you're watching one video like that one, and I'm watching it, you know, seeing what's happening with the girl. Like the video I had seen in the beginning was her just in the, with her hair just coming out in clumps. And so I had to go back and see what was happening. And that's how I saw more stuff about it. But she, I don't know, watching that one, it just puts me on more of them. But god damn, there's so many. And they pop up all the time, and they're all doing their hair dyes at home and stuff, and just doing from one extreme color to the next. And, it's no wonder they're all cut off from the universe. It's like, how could you hear it? Like, you got so much noise in your head going on all the time. You fry off your hair. So, anyways, and how, I'm so surprised of how some of these people, how they see things is so strange. Like, it's like they're not seeing anything in the real reality. And, so when the things flip, like I have been saying, so that is kind of like that separation from the upside down, the underworld and the upper world. So the two worlds flip to go. So that is that. And then it is more obvious, the separation. But I don't know if it's kind of like those people just, they're it isn't like if you say they're choosing, then it sounds like they're just choosing that. It isn't like that. It is, they came in for that experience, to experience whatever all the things they're going to learn from this stuff that is going on. So it isn't about the stuff that's going on here. That's where I think people got to start seeing. It's not about the stuff that goes on here. It's about what you learn from the interactions or the experience. So it's more of the end game than the daily grind. And so it is important. That's why we get hung up on shit that doesn't matter. We get hung up on the little details, and we hold on energetically to stuff that doesn't matter, that we need to let go of. But in all instances, that everybody's here to play a role. Everybody's here to experience different things and to learn and grow. And everything has to occur to make everything happen. And it's already happened. We're just going to go through the experience now. Oh, and I saw, this weekend did have a lot of stuff happen. But, of course, we're not locked down yet. We're still chugging along. So, but there's supposed to be some big things this week. And the thing that I saw, I thought was interesting. So there's something about Title 42. You can look, there's something about the border. There's something about this going into effect. There's a whole bunch of stuff about that they were getting these people to come. It's like, man, you see some of the stuff that's going on down there. The migrants and stuff that are coming over, they treat them like they're slaves or something. They're just trying to control them. They're trying to control them, to own them. So, and it's obvious when you see them. And they're lining up and they're telling them and talking to them and stuff. It is, I don't know, it's very controlled by one side. So all that is going to be exposed. So there's a whole thing where this one guy was talking about, this is one of those code breaker kind of people, that one little bit of the fence that was left open on purpose. It wasn't that he couldn't finish it in time. He left it open on purpose. And it was kind of the lure, because that, and all this stuff is so crazy because they know what stuff is going to happen. So they already knew, they knew Joe was going to go in. They knew, how would you? Whatever the timeline we're on, Joe was always going to be the person who was going to take it all down, because he was who else are they going to put? I guess they could put Jeb, but I think Joe is worse, because I think Joe is really bad. We'll see. I think Joe's really bad. And, they left it open as kind of a lure because they knew all of the traffic jams that would happen. It would turn into. They knew what it would turn into. So now it's like like I had said, it's like they've always been surrounding them, and so now it's like they're coming in the back door, it's something about like this Title 42. I don't know. It's going to be something significant. I don't know how all of this stuff, but there's a whole bunch of different things that work together because of, none of those words are right. The justice for what they're doing is not good for them. It's going to be bad for them. So, but it was like to get as many as you could. So it was like a giant sting operation for one side. While the other side is busily bringing them in, the other side has a big sting operation to get the people who were doing certain jobs. They needed to have them come to the surface. So it's always like that. That's the draining the swamp. You have to go and you have to get the other ones to expose themselves. They have to look out from the corners and the creases, they have to look out from the mice hole and stuff like that. And so they do these things to draw them out. So some kind of thing like that. But I guess apparently that whole thing will lead to the cartel, which leads to the CIA, which leads to, and the traffic, which is about Arizona is the worst of the worst. And so, and that has to do with the remember which state was the one who held things up there at the end. And so there's been so much drama about that. So that's gonna, like how I had said, it's all gonna kind of like all go together. Like however they were gonna come in was always gonna lead all the dominoes to fall. So the first domino that's gonna fall is sounding like it's gonna be something down there. In the 42 thing is to somehow trap them or something. And man, then there's so much stuff I could talk about with all this stuff. I think I've been saying it all along. I mean, their instigators are going to continue showing up at schools, malls, movies, stores, every single place. That's what they're here to do, is to murder and mayhem. So but you got to remember, nothing can happen to you that wasn't always going to happen to you. So anything that happens was always going to happen. That is the biggest thing, is that people are constantly running from things and scared of things that can't happen. It has to be in your destined, your contract. It has to be a part of your path. It won't happen just because, like, there's no running and hiding from it. There's no escaping it. If it's meant to happen, it's going to happen the way it's going to happen. It's all contracted in. Everything is written. It's not, life is way more set. But anyways, it seems that is the pulling apart of the two earths, is the two different perspectives, the two different ways of seeing life or something. And so but we're not going into splitting, like going into two different ones. It's kind of like it kind of is like taking a timer and putting it on the side. Maybe that is why there's still the cataclysm that comes after. Because when this goes down, when this shows that there's these two different realities, and they have to see it, like I think that is one reason why they're doing this so slow, is because it's so hard for people to wrap their heads around stuff and to process things. It causes more chaos, because people they overreact and they freak out about things, and people are so confused, and like people think they're going crazy, all sorts of stuff. But so in the kind of shift thing, where it's like those of us who understand and see, and we're living like on a different kind of way, because we're more, it's just different. Like there's a lot of different things you could say about it. It's just different when you wake up and you start live it, because it's not like you're driving the car, because you just like destiny is happens, but it's like you can relax as the passenger, instead of being and drive the driver's, what is that called, side driver seat or whatever it is called. I can't remember what it's called, but you can sit back and relax and enjoy the scenery, and realize it's different. You don't have the pressure on you, as in the life that where people are living, where they think, it's up to them. It's up to them to survive. It's up to them to survive, but they don't go about it the right way, because they run to the doctors and stuff. But it's up to them to not get killed or they all think that they have some sort of control over it. Like, you could put this on and that's going to protect you or something. And so the people who see life, who have been awakening, then it is like, when this stuff starts tipping, we're not going to feel uncomfortable. We're going to feel more comfortable, because we're uncomfortable now, because everything is flipped, like everything's upside down. You try and tell them the truth and they can't hear you. But then when it flips in that way, then, and it will flip by information, like so much truth, that it will be flipped in the truth. So the things that you say won't be crazy anymore. And so, but it could be real slow as this is going still. And so, once that you get to that point, and everything is going to feel better. So when it starts flipping, and then it's like people aren't looking at you like you're crazy. People start, asking you like, well, what about this? What about that? And you start having value. You've done some healing. You've got some advice. You can help other people. And so, the biggest thing is walking the walk and being a good role model to show people like you can get through this. Especially when people start seeing like, oh my God, I can't believe I just kept telling them how crazy they were and being so mean to them and stuff. That is going to be hard on the person, but they're going to have mad respect for you, because they're going to see themselves as being such a bully, and, and how you still kept going, you didn't turn into a psychopath. And so they're going to be very moved by that, which is going to help them. And so those are the kind of movements that help. That's why walking the walk and being authentic and being real is what's important. And so the people that shift and start seeing the truth, and then that's when things are going to start going better and better, because right now everything is held back, just like the gold, the silver, the censoring account, like all of that stuff is being held, but it's going to snap. It's not going to be able to continue to be held. And so but once that all goes, it's going to feel so much better for a certain group of people. But the other people are going to go and feel so uncomfortable, like how we've all been feeling. They're going to feel so uncomfortable. And so they're going to feel so horrible about so many things. It's going to be so, it's going to be huge. And so, because it's going to be so complex. There's going to be so much things going on with people. And it's gonna, it's gonna be big, and it's gonna be real big, and so too big for some people. Some people, it's gonna be a lot of that murder suicide stuff, more, just more shenanigans, a lot more violence and extreme behavior, and then you don't know how much of that is even certain drugs and frequencies and stuff. So don't get too hung up. Like, I know people just want to get in there, and talk about gun control, talk about this violent person, that violent person, this and that. It's all part of the end of this world as it was. This is how it's going to go down, is in extreme violence, as part of the scene where we were headed, and it had to go in that direction. That's the only way it was going to go. And so those people are going to be more and more uncomfortable, And so, and it's going to be really varying how many of them can accept certain things. And so, in that upside down, where, and I don't know how many of them, because there's supposedly a certain group that will stay upside down. They'll think everybody else has gone crazy or something. They won't be able to shift their mind. And so there's going to be some supposedly that stay in that alternate reality and never come out of it. And, I don't know, but it's going to be a progression for people to shift from that upside down world into the real reality that is so much different. Like even when you see the two in the underneath one, it's always dark. And then the up above one, it's always light and it's always colorful. And so on the one that we're in right now, where it's in the dark, and we're going through the flip, like we're going through like if you think of it as shuffling the cards, we're in the shuffle. Like we're in the process of being in the shuffle of change. You get what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying is like sometimes you can see this stuff and it can make total sense, but to try and explain it, it may not make as much sense as when you can see it. It's always best if you can communicate with your own guides and ask them to show you things and ask them, but there is a big thing to learn to trust that communication, because most people have been programmed into it's not real and that makes you crazy. And, and it is, even for some things, that's one reason why I don't talk to specific names and stuff like that is because I start feeling like I'm filling in the blanks or something. Like when they just come and tell me something, I don't, oh, and who are you? What are you doing here? Why are you telling me this? You can tell, you can feel like it is, and you don't know like if it's just another aspect of you. Like, we're all connected. Your guidance is coming from out, it is like an extension of you. But see, we're all connected through the generations. So even, like your grandparents and stuff, like if you could see, there's a web that connects us all. Like it's like a webbing where it is that movement. It's that micro macro. It's like, and how much of all the things are just you, that I don't know how to explain those stuff, but anyways, it is best to to work on your own communication with your guides and all of that stuff. I've talked about so much, but it is really important is and it's the best way. I don't know how you could really advance spiritually if you were going through somebody else, because that would just interfere and confuse you to have somebody else's stuff be your stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Or something else that was just okay. So there's so the 11th is supposed to be something, and the 12th. So that puts us back to this weekend again, I think. So to me, it's been like each weekend for God damn, a couple months is like, oh, this could be the weekend. This could be the weekend. But there's like so much stuff has to happen over the next couple weeks because of they're putting on the Fed now starts. Like there's a bunch of stuff is supposed to change June 1st. So, I don't know. I've been shocked at some of the things, that I've heard, and where, you think like, oh, well, how will they get through this one? And they still do. So, I don't know. Maybe they'll just blow off doing the Fed now unless they're all arrested or something. But it's looking more and more like more and more people keep going down, down, down. So I think there's lots of arrests going on. And that stormy thing up in the sky, it totally goes with that upside down and the flipping of and symbolically of seeing the truth. That doesn't mean that we'll actually flip, that will be underneath ourselves. Not like that, but and not just visually. It is it's like mentally, it's like to see it different, kind of. Like, I don't know how to explain that, but anyways, as it seems like that, like the storm is the truth, and it is above us, and we're in the underneath, we're in the upside down, because we're not living by the truth. Although some of us have started seeing the truth, but that is what flips us, because we all keep saying what the truth is, which flips it, which creates the truth to be shown, which makes it like, I don't know if it is like, the firmament opens and we have a big flood that comes in or something, and that's why the water changes. Like, I don't know. This is, whatever's going to happen is, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be something that once we get through it, yeah, it's going to be all the rage. It's going to be all the talk. It's going to be what we talk about is, it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be crazy too for some people. It's going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe, they're going to find themselves to be quite the superheroes and stuff, and they're going to have crazy stories about some of the stuff that's going to go on. And it's sad, because a lot of people are going to think that this is really horrible and really sad and really tragic. But really, it's, it's just part of the show. It's not real. Nothing is really happening to anybody. It's just a show. And the more that people can really start to understand that, the less stress they can feel, the less they feel pressure and fear. It's such a big one that just feeds fear. And, just how many people think like death is real, that they have control over it, they have control over their destiny, like all sorts of stuff that people think is, but you're here for an experience, no matter what. And even when I see all these spiritual people out there saying, like, you need to do this, you need to wake up, you need to, all this stuff, even if I'm saying it, hopefully I'm saying it to people who are seekers, who are looking. But what I know is that it isn't our place. It's rude to say that kind of stuff, to be like, tell another soul what you need to do. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need to wake up. You need to do this to wake up. Like, their soul is doing something totally different than what you think. You need to learn how to let go of control and to respect other people's journeys, because everybody's journey is unique in itself. And, it's the experiencer is the creator. And that's why I'm always like, don't get too caught. Like, there's horrible, horrible tragedies going on nonstop. And you can really start feeling down seeing all these sad things happening, and that is where you gotta just let go of them and just keep reminding yourself, like, these souls came up with these storylines. They are the ones who are coming up with this stuff. Even when you see somebody, just lost 3 of their kids and they're devastated and stuff, those souls all came up with that stuff. That didn't just accidentally happen. It was all planned. It was all, it was all drawn out before they came here. They just forgot, because they need to go through to get the real impact. So they need to go through it and not remember. They need to feel what loss feels like, to heal, to experience, to grow, and to learn. So anyways, it's been talking almost an hour. Let me think if there was some other things, because I really wanted to say about that. It seemed like there was a few more things that I was going to say. Was it something about food or water or something? The weather. Well, I know Stella is doing much better. And yesterday when we were out walking, and she was just chugging along. I couldn't believe it. She was walking so fast. I was like, damn, girl, you're doing good. And we have a little incline, this little hill that we walk up. And so, you know, she's getting some exercise when she goes and does these. And so it's making her stronger. And then I think the whatever stuff, the borax stuff is making it have less, I don't know what the minerals do, something for the bone and the inflammation. I don't know how it all works, but it seems definitely like she's had improvements with that. And yesterday she was so strong. Even this one guy who walks with these two dogs, who he said they look, I think they're blue heelers, and they do look mean, but they're always wagging their tail. But the guy is just not a nice guy. And luckily he had a guy with him yesterday, because right when we got up to the gate too, I was trying so hard. I was like, dude, like, if you're coming, why don't you turn and go back the other way, or slow down, or turn and go, you know, like, take your time a minute. No, just power on ahead and cross the street. And then she, what is that called when the dog sledded me? So she all of a sudden dog sleds me. She was yanking me so hard. I was like, boom, 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 going through the neighbor's yard. And I could not hold her at all. Not at all. And I've been able to. So that's where I was like, oh my gosh, she's definitely gotten stronger. And it was crazy. And she pulled me all the way over there. And then that guy starts going up this person's driveway. Get back, get back. And his friend comes over to try and help me get Stella. And he's pulling. And that was helping to get her. And so she started going the other way. And then she started to pull back. And then we had to grab her again and get her. So then she went into the gate. And then that guy was like, oh my gosh. It was like, it's crazy how strong a big dog is like that. Oh my gosh. So anyways, I say that there is a definite improvement. And if you do that, you know, trying to do the borax or whatever, do some like walking and stuff, because it really has helped her like so much. And that is one thing the vet had kept telling me too. And I was like, oh, how do I go out and make her walk? Because every time I go out and make her walk, she's so sore. She'll come in and just keep crying about it. And they were like, well, I don't know, but you got to get out there because it will help her to lose weight, which she has. I think she looks like she's lost weight, but she gains muscle tone, and that's where she just like can yank you. And so I would say if you are doing any of that stuff, make sure you add in, you know, don't get into that like Western medicine idea of just, you know, take a Band-Aid and, you know, just follow through with more things, like go out and do some walking or do some kind of yoga stretches or something to also build up the different, like there's like arthritis, yoga and arthritis exercises. And so I would just do some of those kinds of things, because then you'll really build up your strength and get a lot of strength back that was probably lost, from having it. And it's only been, her and I have been doing the walk for, I don't know, a few weeks. And then she's been on the other stuff for less than 2 weeks, I think. So that's a big improvement, I think, pretty quick. And so, and it's supposed to be like for people who have severe arthritis and stuff, it's supposed to be like in a year, you just won't even believe the difference. So and I know hers is severe. So I'm thinking hers is just going to keep getting better and better and better. So I'm excited about that. And there was another thing that was coming into my mind when I was saying that. I'm going to start a big project today. This is one of those things where it is like, Boy, Kelly, you are kind of a nut. You just go jump in and do something that's probably way above your pay grade, way above your level. But it's like, fuck it. I keep watching these videos with all these girls going and doing this stuff. It's like, well, fuck, I can do this. I've got to not be intimidated. It may not be perfect, but I'm gonna try and do. It's not gonna be the same big job as if I would have been able to hire somebody, because then I wanted them to take out my tub and put in a new tub, get out the water heater. Some of that stuff I can't do by myself. I can't get out that tub. I can't even move the washer or dryer thing by myself. So I'm not even gonna be able to do the floor or get all the painting and stuff behind there until I have somebody come help me move that out, because it's heavy as shit. And it's a stackable one, or it's a tall kind. And let's see, there was something else I was gonna say. I don't remember. Probably is fine. Probably is not that important. Or I'll stop, like I stop so many times, then I'll think, oh man, I forgot to say this. Oh man, I forgot to say that. And sometimes I even think, well, I should just go back and do another video and talk about it some more. But, and I think, oh, it's not that important. I can do it tomorrow. But then I always forget. And there's so many more things come up. But anyways, I would think this week is going to, I think this month is going to keep being crazy. And, there's going to be something that is going to start all of this, drama going. And that is going to, it seems like it could be this week with, if it's going to be the border stuff. So anyways, whatever's going to go, and we still have them threatening with the missile. Like, there's so much stuff. Like, there's just so much stuff. Like, there's no telling what's going to happen next. So just be prepared for anything. But seriously, don't be just going. I say, anybody who is, well, the people listening to me now, that, you got to be careful of not just going out and just trying to live like normal life, because there's people out there to just create chaos. But if that's what you're driven to do, then you got to do it. Maybe you're going to be out there and something horrible happening, you're going to rescue somebody, so you got to listen to your inside. That's what I'm saying. Don't listen to just stuff I say. Listen to what's inside of you. And my daughter did get better with her food poisoning, and she was having fun, and she did look at some houses and stuff there. So I'm going to look at some more of those kinds of places there. And then she told me some more stuff too about like Cabo has just become like she said it's kind of like Vegas. It's just like this party white town. It is not like, and I had just seen this woman who was talking about people, and these people, and I don't think all moved there, but they've created it a really white space and taken over a big resort place in Mexico. And the sad thing is where I'd seen this woman talking about where all these people want to keep moving into other countries and stuff, but then they're going in and pricing the people out who live there. And so, all the Mexican people can't even afford to live in their own place. It's the same thing they showed in that show Shameless about what was going on in Chicago. And oh man, and there's more stuff going on in Chicago. There's more stuff going on in Philly. There's more stuff going on in Ohio. There's just so much stuff. Like, it's going to keep going like that. There's going to be, it's not going to go calmer until everything just blows up. Then it's going to go kind of like where I think it'll feel kind of still for a minute. But it's going to be so much chaos. Like you would have to really be paying attention. Like there's so many people who just don't pay attention. They pay attention to the thing that's happening, not what's it feel like? How are people reacting? What are people doing? Like they just look at it on a different level. So anyways, just if you are going to be going out, just be expecting there's going to be a lot more mass tragedies that are going to just keep occurring until we get down to the people who are here for the next part. And, it's going to be a big reduction in population. I know that. And none of us know who's to go and who's to stay. And everything that we're to go through is what we came here to go through, to experience and to grow from. So just keep it in mind, no matter what the shit that we go through. You came here to go through it. And so just go through it the best you can. Because some of this shit is going to be hard. And just feel it's going to be really hard. So anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.